my friends, I'm back. As we draw near to the end of the month, I just couldn't stop. I was trying to get on to the next design or project I'm working on, but I don't know. I just got bored with it, and you know what? I picked up my hook again. I went back to the same stitch we just finished on my shawl, on my You Inspire Me shawl. And the stitches are just very simple, and it was just real relaxing. So I thought, you know me. I don't mind doing something over or trying to come up with something new if I like the stitch, or if it kind of helps to kind of bring me down a little bit, just kind of let me relax, because I just finished it on one project, so of course I'm very familiar with it. So I thought I would give you another Jay's Lagniappe. Yes, one of Jay's Lagniappe. And I'll tell you how I came to know the word, but it simply means a little something extra, a bonus, a surprise, a way to show thank you to people who support you, who come back over and over. You're my friends. And so, voila. I decided to just pick up, and before I knew it, I had this beautiful cowl. I just thought, man, how easy was that? And I thought, well, naturally, once I get something I like, I want to share it with you, because I want my friends to like it too, and show you how easy it is. But, like I said, one of the reasons that word, I don't know if it's kind of a French, if it's from the French or whatever, but I learned the word when back in my painting days, when I used to paint. And I know I haven't gone over a lot of this. It's just that, man, I'm going to have to go down there and pull out a lot of stuff to show you. I have a lot of stuff. I really do. But anyway, back in the day when decorative painting in the country was king or queen or whatever you want to say, it was really big down here in the South. And during that time, I won't get into a lot of that right now, but during that time I got to travel. I got to travel to all different parts of the country. Me and my friend, my sidekick, Janice. I'm going to try to get her on camera one day, but right now me and her both are having getting a taste of health issues, and so whenever she's ready, I'll take her to lunch and get her on camera. She can really tell you about some of my experiences. I mean, it was a hoot. But anyway, so one year we were going down to Louisiana, down to Brenda Stewart. Now, if you're a decorative painter, or what they used to call toll painter, you will probably recognize her name. She was one of the really high-up teachers back in the day. We're talking in the 80s and 90s, somewhere around in there. Yeah, more of the 90s. And so we had signed up for a seminar at her house, and so we had gotten everything ready, and Janice was going with me, and we were just going to drive. And everything was ready, and so she said, once we sent in our money and everything, she said, well, I'll send you a letter about 2 weeks before the seminar to make sure that you have everything, just go over the supply list. And so we waited, and once it came, she gave us a nice supply list. So, if we had things, we can bring it with us. If not, she would have it on hand when we got to the seminar. And like I said, I'll tell you that at another time, because I have pictures and all that too. We didn't have cameras like we have now and all this, and there was no computer, people. There was no YouTube. So you might say, well, why didn't you put it on YouTube? Well, we didn't have all that back then. You just had the little cameras. You just snap, strike a pose. So, but anyway, so when we got the little supply list, we went down and we got everything ready. Janice and I had our stuff packed, we had our bags, everything was planned. And then at the end of the letter, she put this word, and she went in, she was telling us, and she kept saying this word. Well, we had no clue. Like I said, didn't have computers and Google and all that. So I went to the dictionary, looked it up, couldn't figure it out there, went everywhere. Didn't know anybody, from Louisiana around here to ask. If I did, I couldn't remember, But anyway. So finally, before we left, I just had to call long distance that's how pitiful we were back in the even in the 90s. So I had to call a long distance, said, look, we got everything, we're on our way, we're just letting you know when to expect us, and we've got the route all mapped out. But there was something in your supply list we didn't understand. And I spelled out the word. And so she started laughing, and she said, well, that's like a colloquialism. It's something that if you're from Louisiana, you would know, just like you have words in Georgia that we might know, Y'all come. Or something. Or how about this one? I'm fixing to take a bath. I'm fixing to take a shower. People would just laugh when I'd say that. That's just something you just know if you're from the South or if you're from Georgia or whatever. So she said, then she explained what the word meant. It just means bring something extra to work on. Bring something you might want to share with the group. Bring show and tell, something surprising, something extra than what we're just going to work on in the seminar, in the classes. So that word helped me to start learning new words and other words. After that, I just kept it in my vocabulary, and I thought, well, that's a good reminder to learn new words from other parts of at the time it was just country. But now that I'm on YouTube, of course, it's nice to know something from all over the world. So that's how I came to know. So this is Jay's Lagniappe. It's not spelled like it sounds, and I don't have the Louisiana accent, but it's a very flat word, Lagniappe. And that's what it means. So here's my something extra, my bonus, my surprise. Look at this cowl. This cowl is simply made out of just some regular worsted weight yarn. So after you finish, or if you intend to work the shawl, we just finished, and maybe you have a skein of yarn left, or maybe you just, like me, want to try the stitch in something else. Just get yourself some nice, you can even use bulky weight or a good number 4 weight. This is just plain old. This could be red hard. I love this yarn in ivory or cream color, off-white. And you're only going to need 1 skein. You don't even need the full skein. It is perfect. I'm telling you, this is going to be a go-to. If you have young people away in school or in areas that are still cold, it's getting warm down here, but this is perfect. And you may as well make more than one, because her friend's going to want to borrow it, and then she's going to return it dirty. So you may as well make at least a couple to send her if you have people away at school or away somewhere and it's still relatively cold. All right, yarns. Like I said, this is easily some yarn that you can get or may have in your stash. Or I had a lot of the big twist yarn. It didn't go over so good at Joann, so I don't know if they're phasing out or whatever, but I had bought a lot. So I've got to use up a lot of this. I've got more. I've got stashes of it. The larger size, this is a premium. This is a number 4 weight. It's a nice heavy size weight, nice heavy weight. Be perfect for this. You got a skein? Use it up. I'm going to show you how easy. I'm going to work in just this was left over from my sweater. This is, of course, Vanna, number 4. And we're going to be using, either you can use a J, or some people said they never heard of a K hook. But I'm old school. Back in the day when we learned crochet, we weren't into the world thing then. All our hooks came with letters. So if you notice, I never give a number because we had letters. Just like the alphabet. That's how we learned the hook size. H, I, J, K, L, M, N. We just learned the crochet hook by letters. I don't recognize numbers, but this is a K hook, a J, or a K, if you can find it. This is Susan Bates. All right. So, and I'm going to be working the real-time one here, and I'm going to lay out a cute little visual format line in the crocheting to make it easier for you. What do you think of that? Now, before we get started on that, because the stitch, we already know the stitch. If you need a reminder, I can show you again where I got the stitch, but I changed it so much, so just look at my stitch here. But I have a couple of shout-outs. I was, just working on this and just running through YouTube videos trying to catch up. And one of my friends, Shirley, over at Yarning no, Jamming with Yarn, Shirley. She used to be Blues Jam and Yarn, or Blues, I can't remember. But she changed her name later, and now she's Jamming with Yarn. And I'll just have to put her link there too. But anyway, she linked this lady, and so naturally, she was asking people to go over, and like I said, we're friends, and I know she trusts me, and so I went over. I put her on pause, went over, and looked at the link she was telling me about. And my word, oh gosh, I found the most interesting and amazing 60-some years young lady, and she is Trina at Claxton Tree Crochet. Trina. Now, don't worry, I'm going to, when I put my links, instead of in the show notes and people forget to go down or they don't want to bother to read all that stuff in the show notes, all my information that I need for you, FYI information, let's call it that, FYI, notes or things I want you to look at or videos I want you to link or Jay's help box. Just go to the comment section where you're already commenting, you're sending me messages, or you're reading other people's comments. You will see it there. So I will put the link there. But her name is Trina, and it's Claxton Tree Crochet. Claxton Tree Crochet. And I'm telling you, I promise you, she will steal your heart. She will absolutely steal your heart. So it's so nice to meet you, Miss Trina. Here's from one singer to another. I'm glad to meet you, and I'm putting your link on out so that I'm asking my friends to go over and just take a listen. Now, if she's still new at a lot of the things she's doing in crochet, but she does beautiful things, and she has a story to tell. And like I promise you, like I said again, she will steal your heart. Okay, and the next one I have, I'm still working on this. And I was on the sidebar. And this handsome young man popped up. Yes, indeed. And his name is David Burchell. David Burchell. And he is at A Yarnified Life. A Yarnified Life. He does Tunisian crochet. And I'm telling you, he is... his work, I think, is very pretty. Just amazing and beautiful. It has a masculine touch to it, especially when he puts it on. But yet, just looking at it, it has a nice, soft look to it. So I'm going to link him, and I promise you, if you go over and look, I think the quality of his work, the quality of his presentation, I like he is very professional, but yet you just can't wait to hear more of what he's saying and what he's showing. So David Burchell, A Yarnified Life, Tunisian Crochet. I will put that link down in my comments also. He's a rising star. All right, let me clear this up, and I'll be right back, and we'll get started. All right, so I wanted to just real quick, this is a book that I'm taking the stitch out of. It's the same book I just used on the shawl. Let me see if I can get the glare off. It's the complete book of crochet stitch designs by Linda Scaper, I believe it is. And it's one of our standbys. I bought this book some time ago, and we've done several things out of it. So it is well worth the money that I spent on it, because I use it. It's a kind of a go-to, just everything's in here. So, real quick, I went to, there we go. All right, so there's no names in the books, but she has each stitch by number. And if you have the book and you're just curious of what stitch I use, I just like you to know, since from the beginning, my whole YouTube channel is about stitch books. How I taught myself to knit and crochet from stitch books. Not everybody was able to go, to a knit shop. And back in the day, we didn't have Google and YouTube and all that. So this is how I taught myself. And so I try to show you not only where I get my stitches from, but how to use stitch books. I mean, it's not going to do this lady any good to produce this book or have her name on it and nobody even ever use or know how to use it. So that's my whole goal, and that's what I've done from the first, since I come on YouTube, is just I work out of stitch books and I show you how to use them for your own personal use too. So the stitch, like I said, is 3-5-3. There it is. And it's like a mesh or something. It was just simple. I was looking for something simple. And but of course I have to modify the stitch in order to get it in my designs. That's what you do when you design. You find a stitch and then you make it fit the project you're working on. So now the next thing I want to do is tell you about, oh, okay, I had to get out. I've done this, I had to redo this part of the video, so I'm kind of off. All right, so the next thing I want to share with you is also, since I've been on YouTube, you know, mine's a little set, mine is set up a little different because I try to take you step by step. I like step-by-step tutorials. Yes, they are long, but you know what? For the person who really wants the information, they don't mind it. And I don't mind giving it and sharing it with you. You know, there's a lot of other things that people can watch. So I use what I call a working formula because, like I said, I do not produce written patterns of my designs. You are welcome to come and sit with me, and I will take you step by step here on my YouTube channel. And then the next thing all you have to remember is, if you need help, or you find a problem, or you get confused, or you're new and you still need help, you don't ever have to worry about, well, I don't know who to call. No, I'm always here. All you have to do, and just about anybody that follows me knows that I answer you as quick as I can. Now, that's just because I'm retired and I'm here at the house. Now, that's not to say other people don't too, but, you know, I'm just here. And if I see something comes up, the other night, Luce said, I had a problem with something. Well, I went to always tell me, though, on the video, the time. Look under the video on the timeline and tell me about where you are. And so she told me where she was, and she said, well, I didn't quite understand. Well, it was easy for me to just then go to that problem or that part of the timeline and find the problem and send her back a message. And so, you know, nothing, when I'm working on something, and I know you must be the same, don't you hate when you're in the mood and you're feeling, and then you can't get the answer, or you don't know what to do, and then you have to put it down, and then you have to gear yourself back up to get it going again. So just know that if you need any help, I'm here to help. But if you would just take your time, we are not in a race. My tutorials, that's why they're long, so that you can take your time, listen to them, see, you know, kind of listen to the steps. Yes, I get long-winded sometimes. Just learn how to skip over it, people. You're grown, you're old. We're adults. Just skip over the parts you don't want to hear and get on to where you want to do. I use formulas. I call them formulas because like I said, I don't do written patterns. You have to get my stuff here at my channel. So, in order for me and to help to share with you how to work my designs, from, you know, you got to have a little something. This is a visual aid that I work from. Like I said, I call it formula. I have a knitting formula that's more involved than my little crochet. I'm learning to make it very simple. The whole premise of a crochet is a long chain. I don't really count chains, you know, if I can help it, or if I'm designing. If I can design something where I don't have to sit there and count 235 chains and then hope that I don't change the thing in between and have to pull it all out, I just make a long chain, a chain longer than what I think I'm going to use for each particular project. For this project, the finished piece is about 13 inches wide, the whole cowl. So I'm going to know that I'm going to at least need a chain 16, maybe 16 inches. That's longer than what the width that I want. So all I'm going to do, in just a minute, we're going to make a chain. But here's my chain. Let's make sure that I'm on and that I am not, there we go, that it's not too much of a glare. Okay, so when I make a long chain, which is this line, okay, then all I have to do is separate the chain how I want it. And for instance, I want a border, because I normally put borders on my knitting, so I just got used to putting borders on some of my crochet projects. And 5 double crochets for a border. That means on this side, so you normally have one on this side. which leaves anything I want to put for the center lace. On the shawl, I use 5 repeats of that lace for each end of that shawl I just finished. Well, I just said, well, that 5 looked really great. I'm going to stick with it. So the center lace, I have 5 repeats of the lace. So now, all I have to do, like I said, is chain and start filling in. But just say, for instance, I get here and I look and I go, you know what? Maybe I need 6. Or maybe I need 7. You know, maybe things change. Maybe I want to put 7 double crochet board instead of 5. Maybe I look at it again, you know. Well, if I've already counted up how many chains I needed for this right here, you know, I'd have to pull that chain out and start over and rechain because I wouldn't have enough. But since I have a long chain, longer than what I need, I just pull back and say, okay, let me try right here. Let me try 6 or 7. Then I continue to work. Oh, I might even change this to 6. All right, I don't have to pull out any more chains. I just keep going, change it to 6 repeats, and so forth and so on. Does that make sense? It's not, you know, like I say, it's not, I worked it this way for my own, to help myself understand and keep it simple. So it's not magic. It's still work, and you still have to have an understanding. So that's why I share it every time. So now let me show you something else real quick while I have this out. All right, we're going to use, let me just go, I write down things on here. It's a US, we're going to use a J or K hook. We've already said that. All right, now let me show you this real quick before I go to the actual crocheting. Okay, once we're done, I forget to go over this. I've done it on several of my other longer videos, especially my knitting videos. But I'm going to do it for this crochet video too. I'm going to take it out of the sleeve. It was too much of a glare. All right, let's see. How about that? Okay, I just used black and white ink, people, so just look real careful because color costs too much. Back in the day, we didn't have Google and YouTube and all that, and no copiers and things. If I wanted a copy, I had to get in my car and drive all the way to the library or to the post office or something like that just to get a copy. Or, you know, if you were working, you could take it to work, and, you know, at lunchtime, you can, when you could get up and make a copy then. All right, but once you're done, because this is a cowl that you might give away, so for your own records or to make your own little paper to work from, since I don't produce written patterns of my work, I use this right here, or I go back to the YouTube just like you do. If I want to knit something that I've knitted or crocheted, I just pull up the YouTube video, and I knit from that. Or crochet. So now watch. I lay a little part of my cowl on the copier. I just laid it on there. This is before I sewed it up. I laid a little bit on there, and then I just hit print, you know, copy. And I just made it black and white. Now, let's see, can I get closer? Then I can, on this paper, write down any necessary information, what I want to keep and remember. So when I want a fast and quick project, instead of spending time looking and coming up with, I go, oh, you know what, that cowl I did? Yeah, from Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. You can pull it right up, and already I've got the hook size. You write that in, the weight, or even the yarn you use. I even made a little outline of my little thing, even though I'm gonna have it over there. Then down here, or any other part of the paper, you can start writing your own little step 1, step 2, step 3, whatever you want to do as your notes. See? So then when you go to share it with your friends, you've got something to share, or if you want to make this again, and you're not in front of your computer to pull it up again, you've got a little pattern to start your own. So I do that. You don't have to do it all on everything. You know, I produce a lot of design, but that's just the way that I keep up with a lot of things. All right, let's see. Let me clear this up, and we're going to start stitching. And I think you're going to fly through this. All right, back in just a minute. As we get ready to start our crochet piece, I wanted to go real quick. Look at our, this is before I've sewn it up. I've left it open so, you know, I can show you how to sew it and how to match up the ends. But let's look at compare this to my working formula to the fabric in real time, how it really looks. on my formula, I have a 5 double crochet border. So you can see that plain and clear right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Normally I would then do a chain 1, skip 1 to make an eyelet row, but sometimes a stitch will have enough space on its own, and this one falls into that category. See, there's a big separation here, so I don't have to make that additional separation. So then you would go into the pattern, and I'm going to call these are 3 double crochet clusters. Can you see that? And then there's double crochet. This is what I'm counting as a repeat, the clusters. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's my end row. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is the row I have to end on. And then, of course, on this side, I have to have 5 double crochets. Or if you change your mind and want it 6 or 7 or whatever it is. But I wanted you to see how it matched up with the formula, how the actual fabric looks, taking what we've wrote up as a formula and then actually putting it to fabric. Now, let's go to our chain. And my, I'm using real time. Now my heat just kind of kicked on, so I'll talk up. I'm telling you, my feet have been cold. I don't know what is going on. It's cold, it's hot. I'm about to drive my own self crazy. One minute I put on a sweater, and then I have to take it off. Then I get hot. I'm telling you, that being hot flashes and doing all of this, sometimes it can just wear you down. All right, so here we go. This is going to be row 1. Like I said, here's my chain of about 16. I might do just a few more, make sure I have enough. Looks like I have enough, but I don't want to have to pull anything back. Okay, so it's just that easy. Just a nice chain. Okay, now, row 1 is the right side, and it says, in the 4th chain from the hook, because I start mine always the same, 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make a double crochet. In fact, I need 5. So that's 1. I've already got 1, it's really 2. So here's the first one, and here's 2. Now I'm going to do 3 in the next, 1 more in the next chain. That's 3. In the next chain is 4. And then in this next chain I'll do 1 more. That makes 5. That represents my 5 double crochet border on this side of the work, on this end. Now the pattern is chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2 on the bottom, 1, 2. Now I'm going to do the 3 double crochet cluster. It's simply yarn over, go through the next. After you skip 2, go through the next chain, pull up a loop, stop. You've gone through 2, yarn over, go through that same chain again, pull through 2 loops, stop. 1 more. This will be number 3. It's a 3 double crochet cluster. Pull through 2, stop. You will wind up with 4 loops on the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, pull the yarn through all loops, chain 1. Now in her pattern she went back in that same chain. I'm going to the chain right next to it, and I'm going to repeat the cluster. So let's go 1, wrap and go in. That's 2 again. This is 3. Now I have 4 loops on the hook, pull through all 4. Now I can chain 2, 1, 2. 2 is a magic number. Alright, now I can skip 2 on the bottom, 1, 2, and in the next chain do 1 double crochet. Just like that. Just a double crochet. Now chain 2, 1, 2. Skip 2 on the bottom, 1, 2. I need the 3 clusters again. So let's go 1. Can't seem to get my yarn right. Here goes 2. It's a 3, so I have to go 1 more time. In, pull up through 2. I have 4 loops. pull through all 4, chain 1. Now I need another one in the next chain, not in the same chain. Go to the next one. That's 1, 2, and 3. Pull through all 4 loops. Oops. Let's see, chain 2. Because after you do 2, in between those 2 clusters, I only chain 1. But now, chain 1, 2, skip 2, 1, 2. Now I'm going to repeat the double crochet. Oh, don't you hate this first row? It's just a mess. It's just a mess. Well, it's the night time. It's the right time. You know, I'm back here at night again. Now, it's not near 12 o'clock or anything like I was, or 1 o'clock like I was doing the other night. But it is the night time is the right time. All right, chain 2, 1, 2. All right, I need to skip 2. Now I'm on a row. Now I'm just doing clusters till I have 5. 1. Let's go in again. That's 2. Again. Got to be 3. 4 loops on the hook. Pull through all 4. Chain 1. And then go to the next chain and repeat that cluster. 1, 2, and 3. Pull through, chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2, 1, 2. Now I need a double crochet. Let's see how many I have right now. I'm going for 5. I have 1, 2, 3. I'm counting the cluster as a repeat. So 1, 2, and 3. All right, let's continue to go. Chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2 on the bottom, 1, 2. I need another set of clusters. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. Okay, go to the next chain. 1, 2, and 3. Next chain. So I have 4. Pull through all 4. Okay. Chain 2. I think it's this ring is in the way. Let me move that ring. Chain 2. 1, 2. Skip 2 on the bottom. 1, 2. I need a double crochet. 1. Okay, so far I have 1, 2, 3, 4 clusters. So now chain 2, 1, 2. All right, skip 2 on the bottom. 1, 2. I need a cluster. 1, 2. That's 3. Now chain 1. Another cluster in the next chain. 1, 2, and 3. Pull through all 4 loops on the hook. I'm at the end, so chain 2, 1, 2. There. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have my 5 clusters. All right, now I go back to this end to see how I ended it. I don't want to end with the double crochet. I want to end with the cluster. I start with the cluster, so I need to end with the cluster. So I simply chain 2. I already chained 2. Now skip 2. 1. Let's see, 1, 2. Now I just go back and I do how many double crochets for my border? 5, according to our little formula. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let me just double check. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This end matches this end. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, good to go. Now, and look, I have chains left. It's better to have chains left. And it's not that much, see? We can use that for something else. All right, now listen, when you get to the end, this is the end of row 1. This is the right side. All right, so I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn the work, and now I am on the wrong side. Good, and maybe my yarn won't get so tangled. All right, now I'm going to switch my number. Check my camera. All right, now I want you, on the wrong side on row 2, you simply stack what you just worked on row 1. We don't switch yet. We're going to switch up the stitches, but right now all I'm going to do, so right on top of each one of these double crochets, I'm going to put double crochets, just like this. I'm just going to stack. That's all you do. You don't have to change anything on row 2. So here we go. There are the 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, then of course I have to chain 2 because that's what I did on the front. So chain 2. Now, since I have a cluster here, but with that chain 1 in between, now I can work the clusters out of this little space. See it? So now I do the same thing. I need twin clusters. 1. Go in, that's 2. Go in again, that's 3. Pull through 2. You got 4 loops on the hook. Pull through all 4, chain 1. Now I'm using that same space to put the twin, the next cluster in. So let's go. Let me pull it out. If you get lost, just pull it out. Start again. Go in. That's 1. In a 2. Go in one more time. That's 3. There's the 4 loops. Go through all 4. All right, I have those clusters. And what do I need to do? Chain 2, 1, 2, and then a double crochet on top of a double crochet. Because all we're doing is stacking on row 2. Chain 2. All right, continue across, and then I will come back in just a minute, and we'll turn, and then we're going to switch the stitch up. And also have a little piece of contrasting yarn. I'll go ahead and mark. This will come in handy. It's good to mark the back with a piece of contrasting yarn, just like you put a piece of fringe and a little crochet hook, and just bring it through so that you will have the back. Oops, it didn't go through. So that you will have the back of the work marked row 2, because we're going to switch up in just a minute. We're going to switch the stitches up. Does that make sense? All right, back in just a minute. All right, so at the end of, as I'm coming up to the end of row 2, when I put my little extra yarn to mark the back side or the wrong side. All right, I'm finishing up those double crochets, my 5 double crochets. Of course, I chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Turn the work. And let me pull up me some yarn so I don't have to stop. All right, so once I turn the work, of course, I'm back on row 1. I'm back on the right side again. Now, on this, now we've done 2 rows. Let's take a look. And what you see that we simply stack things on, like things on top of each other. There's the 2 clusters. There's the 2 double crochets, just like that across. And then, of course, my 5 double crochet borders. Now, on this next right side row, we're going to alternate the stitch. So, let me just crochet over. Do my 5 double crochets, just like this. Get up here to chain 2. All right, let's see. 1, 2, go over here. Now, on this right side row, instead of the 2 clusters, I'm going to put a double crochet right in that space there. Just 1 double crochet. So we're going to alternate the pattern right here. Oops. So now I have the 2 clusters and then a double crochet. Alright, so now chain 2, 1, 2 on top of this double crochet right there. Of course, I need to start my cluster. 1, 2, 3, and then pull through all 4 loops, chain 1 and go back in that same double crochet, and we're going to do another cluster. 2, 1 more, it makes 3. Alright, 4 loops on the hook, pull through all 4. Get some yarn. Okay, now we're ready to, we're just staying in pattern now. Chain 2, 1, 2, but in the opposite, we're putting opposites on top of opposites. So now there's the cluster, so I need a double crochet. Then chain 1, 2 on top of the double crochets right there. I need to start the clusters again. So that's 1, just going in 3 times, 2 and 3. That leaves 4 loops and pull through all 4. Chain 1 and repeat. That's 1. That's 2 and 3. Okay. Chain 2, 1, 2. All right. I need a double crochet there. Chain 2, 1, 2. Now, let's take a look before we go too far to make sure you didn't forget. I had a couple times I fell asleep and I had, you're winding up with 3 of these stacked on top of each other, and you don't want that. You want to alternate every other right side row. So now here's a cluster, 1, that's 2 and 3. Pull through, chain 1. Okay. Cluster, repeat that. 1. That's 2. And that's 3. Chain 2, 1, 2. Alright, let's go ahead now. Okay, well, here's the 2 clusters, so I know automatically I'm going to put the double crochet right there. Just 1. Double crochet. Chain 2, 1, 2. More yarn. Man, this stuff, boy, this stuff eats up a lot of yarn. You see why you had to have a chain that's a little longer than what you need. It really eats up a lot of yarn. And then I'm using this K hook, so that's larger. So now on this, above the double crochets, I need a cluster. 1, now 2, and 1 more makes 3. Go in, go through all 4 loops, chain just 1. Now repeat the cluster. 1, 2, and 3. There's the 2 clusters. Now chain 2, 1, 2. All right. Let's look ahead and see what we have to alternate. All right. So now I see I'm at the last cluster. So I want to put a double crochet here. Just 1. Check and make sure. Now, chain 2, 1, 2. I find myself, I'm back at the double crochets at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 double crochets. So I'm going to put 5 double crochets just like that. Oops. There you go. And then, of course, 1 into the post. All right. Now, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And as I turn the work, I'm on the wrong side. The wrong side, all you have to do is stack on top of what you've done on row 1. So, let's just do a few just to get started. And then I'll go to the real one and show you what the next steps. So now I'm just stacking double crochets on top of double crochets, just like that. And of course, I have to chain 2. 1, 2. Now, since I know I'm on the wrong side because I have it marked, alright, so I need another double crochet on top of this one because I'm just stacking now. I'm not alternating yet. So now that makes 1, 2. There. Chain 2. 1, 2. Now I need to stack on top of this cluster, another cluster. So go into that little space. 1, 2, 3, pull through all 4, chain 1, pull it over a little bit, put another cluster. 1, oops, 2, and 3. Pull through all 4. Chain 2, 1, 2, and then I'm stacking whatever it needs on this side. Another double crochet right there. 1, 2, and then a cluster. 1, 2, 3, pull through, chain 1, get some yarn. Oh, my hands are just so dry. The weather. Now another cluster in that same space. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2, 1, 2. A double crochet above that double crochet. Chain 2, 1, 2. Oops. I was going to change the yarn, but hopefully you could see this blue. Okay, so I'm over to the next cluster. So I need a cluster on top of this cluster because I'm on the wrong side, so I know I'm just stacking. I'm not alternating yet. So 1. Oops. That's 2. And here's 3. And pull through all 4, chain 1. Here we go. Again, 1, 2, and 3. Pull through all 4 loops, chain 2, 1, 2. Alright, let's see what we have next. I get enough yarn. Okay, I see there's the next thing's a double crochet, so I need to stack 1 on top of that one. Chain 2, 1, 2, and then another cluster. 1. Let's see, can I get to the end real quick? There's 2. There's 3. Pull through, chain 1. It's 1, 2, and 3. Alright, chain 1, 2. Now, when I end this time, I end with a double crochet. See, just the opposite. See it? Chain 2. Okay, chain 2. 1, 2. Now I'm back at my 5 double crochets. 1, 2. That's 3. That's 4. And number 5 will go into the post. Chain 1, 2, 3. Turn. Now, I have stacked, so I have 2 of everything. So I am back at row 1, and guess what? This time on this row 1, I'm going to switch back to the cluster here, a double crochet here, a cluster here. See, just the opposite. A double cluster there, double crochet here, a cluster, double crochet, cluster, double crochet, cluster. Does that make sense? Now, let me get the original so I can show you how to get to the end. See, it's just these 2 rows, just alternating. Back in just a minute. Okay, so now you You're just going to continue to work back and forth with your border and your center lace, and this is what you're going to have. You eventually will come up, and you'll have to decide. I'm going to give you my measurements, and then you can go from there in case, because it's kind of hard to kind of put it on, because we have to sew a back seam. So let me just show you this. Okay, so here's the beginning of mine right here. You can see that those extra stitches I had, those extra chains I have. So you're going to work. I worked. Let me count. Counting here, these clusters. I'm counting 1, 2, 3. This is going up the side. Now this is how long I'll make it. Let's start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I did 13 of these clusters. You see there's 2 of everything. So I did 13 sets of those clusters. And I thought that was pretty good. I thought that might be a good size. I'm just kind of going by sight. And so as I get ready to end, of course I have my wrong side marked. You need your wrong side so we don't sew the wrong side. We'll sew the size when we get ready to sew. We want to match it up right. So this is what I found though to end it. Let me pull up this and I'm going to show it to you. All right, now here's where I started. This is my beginner row. This is where I, did my chain. Like I said, I started with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 clusters. See that? Okay. Now, to end it, if I end with 2 clusters and then I'm going to sew this together, I'm going to wind up with 4 clusters. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to wind up with too many clusters. So I have to go all the way to the next row where I'm going to end with the 2 clusters, but then end with 2 double crochets. So now when I get ready to sew, watch, it will look like a continuous pattern going around, because now I have 2 double crochets meeting 2 clusters on this side, and I'm going to run a little seam right here. Does that make sense? So let's lay it out again so you can see it. And let me check my camera. If it's too far away, maybe I'll pull in a little bit just so you can see it, because this is a light color. All right, so on this side, the side I started with 5 clusters. Well, when I get ready to end, I want to end with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets. I want the double crochets to be stacked on top of each other. So when I sew it up, I don't have 4 clusters matching. I have a double crochet row meeting that cluster row. See, they just alternate, and then this 2 double crochets here will meet these 2 clusters there. Does that make sense? All right, so let's finish this row, and then we're going to do a little sewing. I'm going to back out just a little bit more now so that we can I don't want it to be so close. Sometimes I get it so close. All right, so I see that I'm here on this wrong side. I'm working on the last row. I've gone as far as I wanted to, and I counted how many I needed. And then here's my 2 clusters, last 2, 1, 2, chain 1, 2, and I need to end with the double crochet. So I'm going to double crochet on top. Oops. I'm going to put a double crochet. Let's see, right here on top of this one. Now chain 2, 1, 2. Now do my 5 double crochets. 1, 2. Oops. Let's do that again. There's 2. Here's 3. 4, and 5 will go into the post. Oops, get a little yarn. 5, I will put it right here and bring it up. So this is the row in order to make the pattern have a nice join, I'm ending with double crochets at the start and at the end of this row. Now all we have to do is match it up into a nice seam. So let's do that. I'm going to cut a nice piece of yarn, pull it through. Let's see how much. I'm going to cut quite a bit because I don't want to have to stop and thread my needle again. So I'll just cut more than what I need. So now there's my yarn. I'm going to just pull my loop through. Just pull your long piece of yarn through. Okay. And I get my yarn. Now make sure you have the back so that we know that this is the back. Here's where I'm going to pull the two. Let me check my camera so you can see the seam. Yeah, I think that's great. Let's see which side. Okay, I've got to turn it so that I'm on this side. Let me turn it around so that I'm here. Now, see, it's going to look like the pattern just continues around because we're matching up the opposite as we sew it up. Let me get my yarn needle and we'll take a few stitches together. I may have cut off a little too much yarn. I can't even find the end of it, people. J. All right. I get excited when I get to the end of a project. Alright, so now I have my yarn needle threaded, see that, with that long piece. And the first thing I like to do, I try my best to get these two edges, hold them up. Now, we are working, there's the inside is the wrong side, I have it marked. So we're really working on the front or the right side of the fabric. So I'm going to do these two ends right here. And I'm going to go in to try to get them really I'm going to pull it. That's really nice. I got it. Now I'm going to go through again before I take any more stitches going up. I'm going to go through this. See, while I can see it down here at the bottom. There's my two. Now I can come up on this side and I can start working back and forth. And I'm just going to take, now you can, like I said, I'm not that great a sewer in crochet. You know, crochet is not my first love. So, you know, I just do the best I can in crochet. Some of you are very good and you know how to really, but I'm going to just stay on the edge and just take little small, just like if I was doing in knitting, because that's all I know, people. But if you know something better, you go for it. But look at when you get ready to come up here to match up, you want to make sure your crochet and these clusters, you want to try to match them up. So I'm going to put my needle right here. I do know to take small, just little small stitches because it seems to work better than big for me. Now maybe I need to set that way. For me, it seems to work better. I can control everything better. Okay, now I'm coming up, so I want to try to, I see on this side I need to pull that stitch down a little bit. I see I need to match it up so that it matches up. I may even take, see, then I go over here, take a little stitch. Then, okay, yes, it's coming. I want to put that one up there and pull this one down a little more. This is a part you have to control yourself because you're so excited to get to the end. There we go. You're doing your best to try to meet it up where the center is of the cluster. I may have to, oops, don't get your yarn tangled up. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I think I've got it kind of right in the center. So now I can continue to go across. A little small Now, some of you may prefer to crochet it, I guess, clothes. I like I said, you know, this is just, you know, I'm just not an expert at the finishing up of crochet. You know, knitting is my first love. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Oh, we all need improvement somewhere, and this is one that I need. Remember, crochet sleeves, but now I've got something I'm going to try on the next crochet, whatever I do. If it's a top or something, I have something I'm going to try, and I'm going for it. And I'll see if you like it. Okay, now I'm going up, and I won't take time to sew all this on camera, but I will have to sew it off camera because I got to get the pictures. Even though you see the pictures when the video comes on, but you can see I hadn't finished it. Okay, now I'm looking ahead. See, can I match the next one up? Get it about right there. See, just go ahead, take your time. It seems like on one side I need a little small stitch, but on this side I need to go larger or longer to pull it down to match, so that I can match right here in the center. See, there's a double crochet, and there's my cluster stitch, the kind of the center of the cluster stitch. So let's go, keep going. Like I said, this is the back of the neck too, you know, but I still want it to look nice. And let's see without it against everything else. Let me bring it close to the camera. Let me get my, see, can I see it? I think that's a winner. I think it's going to be just fine. What do you think? There's my seam. The bottom looks like it just goes right on around. And look, the pattern continues. This is what I'm trying to get at. See, it goes from cluster to double crochet, cluster, double crochet, cluster, double crochet, cluster. So it just goes completely around, even though we did not crochet it in the round. So what do you think of that? So let me just turn it to the right side. I have ends to weave in. I'll finish sewing, but do not take your little mark out until you're completely done, so you don't wind up doing. Now, for those that have chains left, which is great, don't worry about that little extra yarn. You will snip it off, you know, and then you're just going to snip it. Take your yarn needle or something, and then you're going to just pull it and work it back. You just work it back. So you probably can do it with your fingers. Oh, I don't have my glasses on. Oh man. Let's see, if I can pull it back, and pull it back till you can. There we go. Till you get close that you can make a knot. Now, if you go too far, say I really went too far. So all I have to do is real quick grab a little crochet hook. If I see that I went a little too far, pull that loop tight, and then pull that yarn through. Make your knot secure, and then of course you just weave this in. Does that make sense? That's what you do to the leftover chains every time you crochet with me. And then voila, here is your beautiful, beautiful, warm and cozy crochet cowl. Well, what do you think of this? A good way to use up yarn, a stitch that you already know, a nice gift. You can make, make several. Go ahead and put it up. You never know when you might need a gift at work, someone you want to just bless. You can, don't forget too, you can always add a pretty charm. You know, I have charms that I add on to my, let's see if I can grab one right quick. I'm going to stand up a minute. Let's see if I've got one close up here. I didn't think about getting a charm. Oops, I may not be able to get it. You know, some of our little beaded charms. Let's see if I... Oh, J. There we go. Whew. Oh, my heat came on. Just when I'm already sweating. But now, here's a little charm we made in one of my past accent tutorials. And I can link that. And if you want to give them something extra, you can easily put on a pretty charm. Let's see if that's on. Just to make it just that much. See how pretty that looks? Oh, nice gift. But the weight of it, because we use such a large hook, and like I say, you can go heavier on the yarn, and if y'all are still in cold weather, this is really great. And it's deep enough this way that you can pull it up over your ears or pull it up over your mouth or face if you're out, so you don't breathe in all that cold air. Well, I can't think of anything else. I'm excited. I'm excited to share this with you. It was just a little something extra. It was just a little bonus, a little surprise, a little way to say thank you. Thank you for just being here, just coming, and just coming over and over. I really appreciate it. So, I can't think of anything else now, but this is Jay. This is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam, a little lanyette for you. So, I hope you make a lot of them, enjoy it, and I'll see you next time.